Rizzuto Show on 105.7 The Point.
All right, welcome back to the Rizz Show. And we got a guest here. Mr. Bert Kreischer is here.
I was about to Snapchat. I think I might be the only 43-year-old using Snapchat.
Well, here you are. You walk in here from Tampa. From Tampa, Florida.
It was a long walk.
You saunter in here, cock of the walk over here with your hockey team still in the playoffs.
Oh, I don't.
How dare you?
I don't follow hockey. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Like I grew up in Florida. We didn't have. When I
You're
grew
not a
up,
Lightning fan?
No, we didn't have hockey my whole life. I'm a different generation. I know nothing about hockey.
I watched those Lightning games, and the place seems full.
Yeah, but I don't live there now. I live in L.A. And I grew up in Tampa, and we never had hockey. The whole time I lived in Tampa, we had the Bucks. That was it.
Huh.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I don't even know if you call it a hockey game or a hockey match.
Well, let me ask you why you moved from Tampa to Los Angeles.
Have you ever been to Florida?
Well,
we talk about
I want to ask you about
Floridians
that. We
all
talk
day
about
long.
Florida every day. See, we have
Not
this
a fan.
segment.
Man, I grew up with that.
White trash is called Hoosier here. So if somebody in St. Louis calls you a Hoosier, that's like calling you white trash.
Dude, I say
And we
things.
have every day something called the headline Hoosier story of the day.
Yeah.
And 90% of the stories are from Florida.
I say
And that area.
I say things all the time to people, like people I live in LA with, that are like a clear Florida statement. I'm like, oh, you never had a gun pulled on you in traffic? And they're like, no. I was like, dude, I've had a guy fire up in the air. Like, that's like legit. Florida is like
that?
Like, pulled the gun, and my buddy Fritz was like, shoot. I dare you to shoot me. Go to jail for the rest. And the guy just pop, 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 and we all just.
It is loaded.
It is, dude. Florida. I've had I'm like someone's like said something about bachelor parties. I go, huh? Who hasn't overdosed watching gay porn? And they're like, what? I was like, you guys, how did your bachelor parties go in Florida? That was the first thing you do. Pile of cocaine, gay porn.
Why is that though? Why that
know.
area, and that especially like the Tampa St. Pete area?
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with us down there. I think we just grew up different.
Is it inbreeding?
Well, I think it's part inbreeding. Like it's part inbreeding. We still had segregation, so all the whites in Florida are just legit rednecks. Like rednecks. Like their parents met on AncestryMingle.com. Rednecks.
Yeah.
And it's like a different type of redneck, man. Like, and so I think part of it is that. I don't know. I really don't know. I
don't know. What my theory is, and people have theorized about this, is that because the weather is always so warm out there, you hear about it more because a lot of the Hoosier, redneck, white trash activity is outside.
Yeah.
And therefore it's in the press.
Yeah.
Whereas there's white trash everywhere.
Sure.
But it gets cold and you do that stuff inside.
Yeah.
And you don't hear about it.
In Florida, it's out in the dirt. Just going to the bathroom on the hood of someone's car. Like, that's Florida behavior.
That's Florida, baby.
Dude, like I say to people all the time, I go, I have a bunch of jokes that aren't jokes, they're just lessons I learned in Florida. Like, don't ever get gasoline in your this part.
Rectum?
Yeah. And then someone's like, excuse me? And I'm like, yeah, don't. Like, that's Florida.
Why would that even be around your rectal area?
The fact that you're asking that, I'm so shocked that that's never happened. Are you serious?
Yeah, never. Not to
Okay,
me.
let me walk you through it. You're on a boat, okay? It's Gasparilla. And and you see a group of friends, so you guys all pull your pants off to moon them. And then if everyone knows anything about boats, you can pull that little pump up and squeeze that pump, and they spray gasoline all over your rear end.
I'm thinking like the scene from Zoolander.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they have the gasoline fight at the pump.
Exactly. On a boat, everyone's smoking joints, gasoline all over the place, and then all of a sudden you're in the water trying to scrub it out, but you can't get it out. You really can't. This is why I say don't ever get it out. Don't ever let it happen to you. And then next thing you know, you're swimming to shore. Then you got a handful of sand cleaning out your crack like a miner cleaning a skillet. I'm telling you, man. Like I wish that these weren't jokes in my act. Like we used to take acid and go to Disneyland all the time.
That sounds awesome.
Really?
All the time.
I was a chaperone once for a group of friends who were on acid, and we went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Like you were their watcher?
I was there because I had to work that day, so I could not do drugs that day with them.
Really?
So they
I'll
said,
pass
hey,
on that job.
We're gonna. And I was young and naive. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was trying to be a good friend. Next thing you know, my buddy's like hugging this ancient Greek column.
Dude.
Like over the barricade. And I'm like, oh boy, that's a terrible idea. Worst idea ever.
Me and my buddy Hutch and my buddy Harper, By the way, my two dumbest friends in the world. Harper one time misspelled his name. Happer, 2 P's, no R. I go, hey, Harp, you misspelled your name. He's like, well, it happens. I was like, no, it doesn't. I've never been in a rush like, catch you later, burf. We took acid. We used to take acid and go to Disneyland all the time. And it's
all the time, huh?
All the time. Like, now you look back and you're like, I bet I could use those brain cells. But
well, I would think being around little kids and
you'd think it would be positive energy.
Yeah,
because it's made for acid, right? All the bushes are carved like animals.
It's the happiest place on earth.
There's a big rat walking around. What's your name? But then you're like, oh, look how big his hands are. Like, it's not, man. We lost it bad.
I think going on the rides and stuff like. Oh, you got arrested.
Oh yeah. Oh, we went on Peter Pan's ride in Never Neverland. Yeah, and Hutch.
And you never got off.
Never came back.
Halfway through, Hutch leans over and he's like, real funny. Now give him back. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Give him back. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, my feet. You took them. Now give them back. I'm like, bro, I don't have your feet.
Peter Pan took them.
Yeah, disappears into the ride. Gone. Into the ride. Like, breaks it. Heads off into the ride. I look next to Harper. He's like crying. What's wrong with you? He's like, they took my shadow too. Yeah, we got put on the back of that golf cart. Handcuffs and everything.
And did they know what you were on? Like they know how to spot, the acid heads.
No. You'd be shocked how sober you get when you get arrested.
Yeah.
Like have you ever? I mean, like me and my buddy Croy got arrested in San Diego one time. It was for open container. That was it. It was really open container, but it was a big party. And Croy said something back to the cop, and we were lit. We were really drunk. And then we got in the car, and Croy decides to light the cop up. Like, just go, let me tell you about who you are.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, right? We're both handcuffed in the back of a Jeep Cherokee. And he's like, let me tell you who you are. You're the guy in high school, and just starts lighting him up. And I am laughing hysterically. And the cop's looking at him in the rearview mirror and is smiling and nodding his head. He goes, are you done? And Croy goes, yeah, I'm about done. And the guy gets out of the car, goes around to the back. We don't know what he's doing. Comes back, opens Croy's door, and puts a black hood with a lock around his head,
like a hostage,
like a hostage mask, and it's thick, and all you can hear is Croy just going. I mean, I literally was next to him going, I think you're a cool guy.
So, is that like a spit hood or something like that?
It's a spit hood, but the guy was just like, I'm tired of listening to this, and just locked him up. And I'm sitting next to Croy the whole ride, being like, oh my God, I would be losing it right now. We get to the police station, and we're sitting there, and finally he takes off the hood, and Croy goes, and I bet you got a little whatchamacallit too. Like, just starts back up.
And then he fell down the stairs.
Right,
on his
3
way to the
times.
station.
Yeah. God, yeah. Croy and I grew up in Florida.
There you go. Surprise.
Yeah.
Bert Kreischer is at Helium Comedy Club this weekend. He's got a show tonight, 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows on Saturday. And if you don't know who he is, now this is the God's honest truth. When you were coming to town or announced you were coming to town, people were hitting us up all the time going, you need to get Bert on the show. You need to get him on the show.
Really?
I'm like, why? All I knew you from was your Travel Channel stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a big Travel Channel guy.
That's the wrong thing to know me from.
No, man, that's my dream job.
No, it's a great job, but like as far as like if you're coming to see me live, it has nothing to do with my live shows.
Like, the guy that eats funny stuff? No, he goes on weird trips. No, that's not you.
Right.
That's not you.
It's not me.
We want to know the real you. And if you really kind of just look a little bit into the real you.
Ooh.
Well, you start with Florida.
Well, first of all, your nickname is The Machine.
Dude, I got called into Travel Channel when I got the job. They fired the regime that was in charge that hired me. And then they got a new president. Her name was Lorene Ong. She's a very nice lady. But this is a story that's true, so she wouldn't mind me telling it. She flies me from L.A. to D.C. for an hour meeting. She wants to meet with me for an hour and then fly me home. And I'm like, that seems odd. Uh-huh. I walk into her room, and she's like, your digital footprint leaves something to be desired. She said, I'm to understand that the only thing travel-related you've ever done is rob a train in Russia with the Russian mafia. And
is that true?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's...
You robbed the train with the Russian mafia?
Yeah, when I was 22.
And you said, who else on your roster has done that?
Yeah, and she was like, I do not want you on this network. I do not think you are fit to be on this network. And I've been there 6 years.
Is this before you got your show?
This is, we were shooting Bert the Conqueror, the first season of Bert the Conqueror. And the thing that I think we came to figure out is that first of all, I'm not a bad person. I'm a fun guy. I like to have a good time. And that's what travel's about. Travel's about having a good time.
Sure.
And so when I go and do my shows, it's all about having a good time. And we have a good time that translates on air.
And if there's somebody to have a good time, that's you.
It's definitely me. Like almost to a flaw. Like I'm the guy that shows up with 100 burgers.
Well, I mean, the reason you got famous was, I'm sure you've heard the Van Wilder thing 1,000 times. Are you tired of it? Like being...
I wish I'd never...
You are the inspiration for Van Wilder.
Yeah, I wish I had never brought it up. Because I'm the only reason anyone knows it. Yeah. I found out about it from National Lampoon. Like I did a radio show. I'd always heard about it. Because Hollywood's a small town, and my agents and managers wanted to sue, and I chose not to. And then I went in and I did a National Lampoon show, and I knew it in the back of my head. But I always wanted to, I thought that would be a cool thing. I wasn't selling tickets.
You wanted to verify it.
I wanted to verify it, and I thought it would be like the real Van Wilder. I thought that would be like a cool moniker. So I brought in a bunch of movie execs. They used to have a National Lampoon building on Sunset. That's where they did the radio show. That's where they did the movies. I brought in a bunch of movies execs, and I told them my story. I said, I have a story I want to tell you. Tell me if this rings a bell. In 1997, Rolling Stone magazine discovered me and called me the #1 party animal in the country.
At the #1 party school in the country.
At Florida State. Oliver Stone optioned the rights to my life, and I moved to New York, and I started doing stand-up. And as soon as I said that, they were like, cut the mics. And they cut the mics.
Really?
They cut the mics immediately. And they were like, literally no mics. They're like, are you suing us? Is that what you're doing right now?
Really?
And I was like, no. I go, to be honest with you.
You're trying to build the legacy. You're trying to build your brand.
I said, I just want to be able to say it on morning radio and not feel like a liar. And that's it. And they were like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. And they're like, how about we give you your own radio show? We'll call it Partying with the Original Van Wilder. I was like, done. That was better than I ever imagined. And so yeah, it was like, it was a cool little thing. And now I feel like it stinks because that movie was not a big movie when it came out. Like,
no, but it's got one of those cult.
It's a cult classic. So people hear that and they're like, oh, do you talk about whatever you do to bulldogs or whatever? And I'm like, I've never seen the movie. I never seen the movie. You want to hear something even crazier?
You've never seen the movie?
And want to hear something even crazier than that? On your podcast with Ryan Reynolds. And I'm like, 100%. Can you really take his shirt off?
So did you do it yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. I mean, he's been a little busy, but yeah, it was really cool. It's a really cool footnote in my life. I have a lot of really cool things where you go, shut up.
Well, the Rolling Stone thing.
I got to blow you away right now. You ready? This is one that I think is even cooler than that. I was in a band in college, and it was called Giving Out Spankins, and I was the front man, and it was me, John Dacre, Brent Bracken, and Ben Carter. And one of our fraternity brothers wanted to join in, and he was really good. Like, so good that you, like, immediately, you're in a band, you ever have someone so good, you're like, oh, he's going to realize how bad I am.
Oh, yeah.
So I kicked him out. And he was like, I'm the best guy in the band. And I was like, yeah, and that's why we don't want you anymore, because me and the bassist won a band, and if you're here, you're going to realize you can get someone better. He's like, I'm going to start a band 10 times better than yours. I was like, good luck.
Go ahead.
He started a band called Creed.
Oh, no way, Mark
Tremonti, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the way, if you ask him about it, he'll deny it. He goes, I don't know Bert Kreischer. By the way, in my fraternity, I gave him his nickname, and I think he still holds like a bone with it.
Dude, I was in Metallica once, but if you ask any of those dudes, they're going to deny it too.
It's almost as though they don't know who you are. It's really weird.
All right, you're going to ask them, hey, was Rizz, in your band once? And they're going to deny it.
I'm like the guy from the Beastie Boys that passed away.
Hey, Rizz, he said the band name was Giving Out Spankings. Does that got to go on our band name list?
Oh, read him our band name list.
Oh, we got some good ones, man.
You'd be a good authority on.
We people, like, whether we're talking about a news story or just general conversation, when we come up with what we believe to be a great band name, we write them down, and eventually we are going to start a band, and we are going to pick from this list.
But give them the highlights.
This is such a big list.
How about, don't go through all of them.
I'm not. How about Unpixelated Backburger?
That came up in a news story.
Not sure if you get the reference.
I like that.
The bleeding nipples. Crusty squeeze.
I've been there.
That was a tough day.
Crusty squeeze holes.
Crusty squeeze holes.
Let's see. Oh God. Cash Cabbath. That's a Black Sabbath.
How about the postmenopausals?
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Banana massage. A cat's a-hole, but
that's catchy, by the way.
A cat's a-hole.
Yeah, that's catchy.
What kind of is that punk? What kind of music is that?
Yeah, Tainted Sample. That's kind of a metal band. Unexpected Cheddar. I like that one.
Okay.
Airplane farts. Joni Pepperoni and the Hitmen.
That was a good.
See,
one.
this is when I had to name my book. They named it Life at the Party. I wanted to name it Shh, the Bert Kreischer story. I thought that was such a good name. Shh, the Bert Kreischer story.
SHHH ...
The Bert Kreischer story.
That's funny.
And the people did not like it.
So let me ask you that. So when Rolling Stone went to go do the article,
Yeah.
and they were asking people at FSU like about the number one partier, everybody said you.
Well, they only asked like 5 people. They asked Fred Maglione. They asked Eric Pogue. They asked Charlie Erdman. They asked like dudes I knew. And I partied with all these guys the night before, and I think half Bert's the biggest party. I was in the middle of a bong hit. And that guy, man, I never forget that. I literally, my buddy Blair passed me the phone. I had just taken a bong hit, and I was like, hello. And he told me, my name's Eric Hedegaard. I want to come down to Florida State. I want to write an article about Florida State. I need a chaperone. I want to kind of broad stroke of the school. Can you give me like a broad stroke? And I was like, okay. And he's like, he goes, were you just doing a bong hit? And I was like, yeah. And he must have been like, I found the guy.
Yeah.
And so he spent 5 days with me. And man, you know how normally you'd like sit and watch SportsCenter all morning? Well, if you have like a journalist sitting with you, and this is before reality television or phones, like cell phones, you couldn't just sit on your cell phone. You'd be like, what are you going to do today? We did stuff back then. We just got up and did stuff.
Right.
And I'd be like, he had a discretionary budget. And I was like, let's go drink. And it'd be like 10 in the morning. I love morning drinking. And so
He came in and asked for alcohol, by the way, immediately.
Yeah, sure did.
I'm so hungover from last night. You have not even last night, yesterday. You have no idea. But so yeah, and so we partied hard, man. We really partied hard. We got him to do drugs. He hadn't done drugs in forever.
The journalist?
Journalist, yeah. We got him to do drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Let's just leave it at that. He was like, I think at one point I was like, hey man, don't put this in the article. He was like, are you kidding me? I couldn't tell anyone about this night. Like,
right.
He was like, this is the craziest night I've ever had. He was sitting monkey in the back of my Jeep Cherokee, like in the backpack. And he was like, this is the most insane night I've ever had.
And that was a typical night for you at FSU?
Dude.
You went that hard for 6 years?
6 years.
Dude, we played a couple shows at that place, and it was I was involved in some ridiculous propositions, and we weren't even there for more than a night.
You know, what's so funny is like you go, like I moved from there to LA, and like things didn't, or not there to New York, and things didn't translate. Like literally, I remember one time this comedian Jordan, there were a bunch of girls from FSU up, and they're like, I go, hey, my buddy Jordan Rubin's got a house. I think he had it with like Simon Rex.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Simon Rex.
I think they shared an apartment.
names.
I've told Simon this. Simon's gorgeous still, and Dirt
Did
Nasty.
he do porn for a while?
No, he just.
I got it.
Yeah, and so.
Okay,
by the way, you like how I defended that? You just did that.
No, it was just that.
It was just that. I mean,
we all know what that
on
is.
camera, and so.
How you got that out of? No, he just.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, great.
And so these girls are up. By the way, these girls are all working in the business now. They're all from Florida State. 4 girls. They're beautiful. The girls at Florida State were like next level hot. And they're like, and they said, hey, we got some Coke. Can you find us a room and we'll all do some Coke? And I was like, yeah. So I went over to Jordan and I was like, hey, do you mind if we use your room to get high? And he was like, no, not at all. And so we go into his room and Jordan follows us and we take the mirror off his wall. And Jordan goes, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we're getting high. He was like, I thought you were smoking a joint. I was like, what world do you live in where I'd go to your room to smoke a joint? Like, I just smoke it here. Like, that was the way Florida State worked, though. Florida State was like, dude, it was just a different world. Like, I remember telling journalists that like, no one's crashing beers on their head. They're eating ecstasy and like, and acid and mushrooms and like it was, and drinking beer nonstop. It was, and look, I'm 43 years now.
It was hedonism.
And it was like the best 7 years of my life. Like I loved when I left, I was like, I literally very few times, you know how you gotta have like a good breakup and you're like, you know what? I feel good about that breakup. When I left college, I was like, I'm ready for the next phase of my life. Like I'm ready.
Done.
I'm done. And I moved to New York. And I remember.
But what the hell were you going to do? I mean, you spent 6-7 years partying.
Exactly. What was I going to do? I was panicking. I was like, I said in the article I wanted to do stand up. So this radio station put up.
Well, we can continue the story. I got to take a break.
Okay,
right?
let's take a break. Let's break out the Jack. What are we doing, guys?
Yeah, hey.
Get him some Jim
I'll
Beam.
go pull a beer off the wall and we'll get this
all
going.
drinking and we're getting loose.
Drink. Okay,
Cancel
fine.
the rest of the radio.
Point.
What did you just bring him?
Did you just bring
Why-
a box of
everybody-
airplane
everybody-
beer?
Heroin.
Everybody-
It looks like heroin.
There's a lunchbox full of liquor.
By the way, Bert Kreischer is here.
Hey!
And he is at the Helium Comedy Club. He's got a show tonight. He's got 2 shows tomorrow. He's got 2 shows on Saturday. HeliumComedy.com is the website. Got all the info on there. And just everybody's just bringing you booze.
That's my whole life.
Did you just bring? You brought him an elbow, a lunchbox of liquor.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lunch pail from back from the 50s. When it was okay to drink on the job.
You may just know him from his Travel Channel stuff, Bert the Conqueror and Trip Flip, but you are a complex person. You are way more than the stuff you see on TV.
All the stuff I shared off the air is the reason I'm in therapy.
Listen, this was the #1 partier at the #1 party school in America for 7 years in a row.
That is a resume builder.
So you
for
get,
sure.
All right, so you get out of college. What did you go to college for? I mean, you went to FSU for 7 years.
Creative writing.
What did your parents think?
You know, in all honesty, I think my dad was just like.
Was it disappointment?
I think he was. I do think he was afraid that I was a failure. And then, like, literally, when the Rolling Stone magazine came out, like, he didn't know what to do because he was like, "Buddy, I don't know how you're gonna get a job." Because this is before reality television.
Was this line uttered? This is gonna follow you around forever.
Yep. And my buddy Croy, the guy I told you that got the hood put over his head, his dad called me. His dad's a big lawyer in Florida. His dad called me and he goes, "You get this opportunity once in a lifetime. You capitalize on it."
Yeah.
He goes, "You move to New York. If you want to do stand-up, you do stand-up. You move to New York, you do it." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "You'll never get this opportunity again. You capitalize on it." And I tried stand-up one night. They offered me my own morning show in Tallahassee.
Yeah, this is great. So is this stand-up? And so you went to Tallahassee
At
to do your
Potbelly's.
first stand-up gig. After his first stand-up gig, well, I heard the story of you were going to get drunk before you were going to go on stage.
Yeah, I want to remember the guy's. Christian Harloff is the guy's name. He's a really funny comic out of L.A., which is so crazy that our paths met there. I was in the back of Potbelly's. I grabbed a Miller
This is a
Lite,
great story. Think about it.
And-
Listen to this.
and I said, and I was like getting ready to go on stage. I didn't have a set list. I didn't know anything about comedy. I was like, you just get on stage and I guess you make funny happen. And so I grabbed a Miller Lite and I went to take my first sip. And Christian Harloff came up to me and he goes, "Hey man, nothing for nothing. I wouldn't do that." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "If you want to do this for a living, then I would do it sober. Because then it can be a job and you can always do it sober. But if you do it with alcohol and you do good, then you'll always need alcohol." And by the way, that was not my MO in life. My MO was like drugs and alcohol to do anything. Anything. And I put the beer down and I went, okay. I did it. I did like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
And you winged it.
Winged the whole thing and had a really great set. And they offered me my own morning show. And
It was like a radio station that sponsored the comedy night or something.
yeah, and the guy said,
Who was the morning show guy? Was it?
I wish I knew. I wish I'd paid attention because he said, now I definitely wish I paid attention because I know a lot about radio. But like they said you'll go in, you'll be his third mic. I didn't know what that meant. You'll be his third mic. You'll hang out for like a month, and then he's gonna leave, and it'll be your show. You'll just take over the show. And I was like, great. So they introduced me to him. Me and him sat down, had a beer after the show. I said, this is awesome, man. I'm really excited. And he goes, yeah, knock yourself out. And I was like, why are you leaving? And he was like, who wants to do radio in Tallahassee?
That's it.
And I literally,
you were like,
I
nope.
heard that and I was like, not me. He goes, I'm
So
moving
right
to
off
New
the bat,
York.
they offered him a friggin' morning show.
Wow.
That's
Damn.
nuts.
Yeah. And so I said, if you can, in my head, I thought, if I was good enough to be your sidekick, I bet I can move to New York and get something started.
Right. So then you went to New York.
Moved to New York and literally, I mean, not literally, but like 6 months later, Will Smith discovered me.
Check out this story.
The Will Smith?
The Will Smith. So this is
That's
around.
what my dad said.
The Will Smith?
If I'm
or
to
is
think
it
about
Billy
it,
Smith?
no, the story that goes. This is 99, 2000.
This is I was 26 years old, so I think it's probably 99. I only know that because on the Millennium Party they told me someone from Hollywood's going to be here. He knows Will Smith, and I was like, who's it going to be? And then it found out it was me.
So was it Will Smith found the article and read about you, or heard through the grapevine about this guy Bert Kreischer, and he's this partier, and maybe we could do something together. So
It was his people. What was happening is I was working the door at the Boston Comedy Club, and I was allowing all the NYU kids to come in and drink underage. So I was just like, dude, they don't ID, just go drink. And I was just out of college, so I was like almost simpatico with them. So I was the guy that let them all in for free, got them drinking. I'd go up at the end of the night, and I'd just destroy, because they were like, who's not going to laugh at the guy who just let us in? Time Out New York wrote an article about it. Will Smith's people, he was in town doing Millennium at the time.
Oh, okay.
And his people saw the article, came down to the club, watched me do stand-up, and they're like, Will's going to love you. And they're like, we want you to meet Will. So I went up to the Hit Factory where he was doing Millennium. And they had like 2 folding chairs in the middle of a room. And they were like, sit down, Mr. Smith will be in a second. Dude, I'm 26 years old, right out of Tallahassee. And Will Smith comes in. And I knew if I got this deal, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was making $25 a night working the door. Will Smith comes in, hurricane of personality. Just
what? So he just said Will Smith's people, like, he wants to meet with you. And what is in your mind? Like, what? For what?
Exactly. I'm like, and I had a guy I had a couple people jockeying to be my manager, and they were like, he wants to do a TV show with you. If this happens, it's a big deal. I told my dad.
And your dad thought it was a casting couch situation where you'd have to have a gay sex thing with Will Smith.
What happened was we meet, and I light up. First of all, I love hip hop, so I start hammering. I love black people. I love you. You're black. I love Jada. What happened to Tupac? Who killed Biggie? Like, I'm literally hammering him. And we talked for an hour. I spoke the whole time, and he gave me a big hug, and he goes, I like you. And I went, I like you. And he's like, let's go to the movies. And I went, okay. And that was it. And I walked out. I called my dad. He goes, how did it go? I go, hey, we're going to the movies.
I got a second date.
Yeah, my dad goes, on a date? My dad's old school, old school. He goes, on a date? I go, no, like, yeah, maybe, or I don't know.
I don't care at this point.
And my dad's like, buddy, I think he wants to gay up. Like, this is what they do.
Bert, you're so naive.
Yeah. He goes, this is what they do in Hollywood. And I go, Dad, that's impossible. I just hung out with him in a dance studio. He's like, what? I was like, nothing. And then he goes, buddy, let me ask you a question. What's more likely? The fact that you're so talented that within 6 months of doing stand-up, the biggest movie star in the world wants to make a TV show about you, or that he's a closeted homosexual and he wants to have sex with you. I was like, oh my God. I was like, what do I do? And my dad said, you show up.
So you're going to roll the dice.
Yeah,
either way, you're in.
Yeah, eat crap and cash checks. And so I showed up. But I showed up. It was at Planet Hollywood. This is the worst part. I showed up to Planet Hollywood, and I'm like, and just like you said, I go up and I goes, Will Smith here. And that's where he said to meet him. And they're like, the actor Will Smith? I was like, yes.
Like welcome to Earth?
Yes, welcome to Earth. We have a mannequin in the back. Is that what you're looking for? I go, no, I'm supposed to see a movie with him? And they're like, what?
The fourth person today to say that.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this was a whole gag. Like, this is where the cameras. And so they're like, you're more than welcome to wait for him, but I don't think he'll ever come. So I sit down. All of a sudden, door off to the left opens. And a 6'5", 320-pound black dude named Charlie Mack sticks his head out and he goes, looks at me, he goes, you Bert? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to have sex with this guy too. This is more than I planned on. I'm like, I might be. He goes downstairs, takes me downstairs, and there is literally 10 black dudes in a room no bigger than this, really, with red curtains everywhere and a folding table in the middle, and they're just staring at me. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to have sex with all these 10 guys. Charlie Mack, Will Smith, I'm sure he's bringing Jazzy Jeff. That's 13 dudes.
On the table.
On the table. That's how it's going down, and I'm doing the math. I'm going, do I start with Charlie Mack, or do I start with, I should give it to Fresh Prince first.
At this point, you just grab your ankles and go, all right, just do whatever you're going to do.
Yeah, and so I'm literally, like, not making eye contact with anyone. Will shows up with Jazzy Jeff, I swear to God.
Oh, my goodness.
I swear to God, with Jazzy Jeff. And he looks at me and he goes, yo, this is him. And all the guys start walking to me like, it's going down. And then all of a sudden the curtains open behind me and there's a beautiful movie theater with like private lush couches. And Will says, go get us 2 seats. I'll get us drinks. You want a Long Island iced tea? I was like, yeah. So we watch a movie. We watch American Pie. At the end of the movie, he goes, what did you think? And I thought it was like a litmus for like, did you like this? Can we make TV like this? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I loved it. I loved this.
Oh my gosh. You watch American Pie with Will Smith in a private theater?
And then he says, what did you think about the room? I go, it's great. And he goes, no, what did you think about the guys in the room? I was like, they're black. And he's like, no. And he looks at me, he goes, you said you were a hip hop fan. He goes, that's Kool Moe Dee, that's Biz Markie.
No kidding.
That's Big Daddy. I'm like, he goes, you said you were a fan, so I called them all so that you can meet them. And I'm like, I could have had sex with Kool Moe Dee? Are you serious?
It's insane.
It was like, and then you know what's crazy is he said to me, he goes, let's do this again tomorrow. And I was like, okay. But he never called, so I didn't show up. And me not showing up made me look to him like I was hard to get. So he's like, I love this guy. And I was like, done. And so we ended up doing. He taught me how to pitch TV shows. He was the greatest. He was the greatest blessing in my career.
Wow.
He like literally put a stamp of approval on me for Hollywood. And he's like, I'm willing to work with this guy. You should work with this guy. And he's To this day, I mean, I tell that story.
Do you still keep in touch with him?
No, kind of, not kind of at all. That's a lie.
But here's the thing: if you ask Will if he knows Bert, he's going to deny it like 15 times.
Bert, that guy in Metallica?
So badly want to know because he called me up one day. I was pitching a movie. It was basically I was pitching Get Him to the Greek, but with hip hop, and it was from New York to Miami, but with a rapper instead. And it was going around, and he just called up one day. He just shows up. No, I don't know the number. I pick it up, and he's like, Bert. I was like, Ken. He goes, it's Will. Hey, man, you pitching a movie? And I go, yeah. And he's like, how come you didn't call me? I go, who is this? He's like, it's Will. I go, Will who? And he goes, Will Smith. Who do you think it is? And he's like, man, I'm the biggest movie star in Hollywood. Why wouldn't you call me if you want to pitch a movie? And I went, I didn't think about it. And he goes, let me set up some meetings for you. Come in and pitch it. And he's just the greatest guy in the world. And that's who he is. And I wrote that story in my book, and I've told that story before. And I'm just always wondering if he's going to hear it one day and be like, because everyone said he was gay, like there was a big rumor,
right? Yeah.
And now his son's been like the spokesperson for like cisgender,
wearing women's clothes.
And Will's been behind his son and been like, that's my boy, and so like that subject is probably been brought up, and I guarantee you someone's like used my story against him. So I hope that he whatever.
Hey, Will, if you're listening.
It's cool.
Wish him
it's cool, man.
It's all good, man.
It's cool.
You know Will's a big listener of the Rizz Show, so it's cool.
Well, then let me talk to him right now. Hey, Will.
Call in 969-DUDE.
That's Bert Kreischer. He's going to be at the Helium Comedy Club this weekend. A show tonight, 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows on Saturday. Go to heliumcomedy.com and get your tickets and buy your book. And
my new show, Bert the Conqueror, airs on Travel Channel June 7th. So check that out.
And I
got a Showtime special coming out in a couple months. My podcast. It's like you can't just be a comic anymore. You got to do everything.
Can you please come back? I mean, I have so much stuff to talk to you about.
Dude, I would come back anytime. Let's do a call-in sick to work show here. Do you know what those are?
No.
Okay, what I do is I come into radio. We drink hardcore. Like I'll show up at 6 in the morning.
You've got my attention.
Start drinking at 6. We wrap at 10, and then we go right to the club. And we throw like a 11 o'clock show on. Everyone calls in sick to work, and it's just day drinking.
Okay, let's
do it. Let's do it.
Doesn't sound
we
good.
We have contacts on the east side for those kind of clubs. We're good. Let's do it.
Let's do it. This is going to be a blast.
I'm the resident alcoholic on the show, so I'm in.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's already set up.
You set this up.
I just did.
All right, it's already set up.
Call in sick to work show. I'll call you
us already.
They're waiting for us. See you next weekend. We'll take our final break and come wrap it up.